Hello and welcome to Friday at 11. We're just a little chat show for half an hour, and this week we're going to talk about social media pet peeves. Today I have with me Ali Hodge.
Hello. From Bugbird and Bee.
And Joanne.
Yeah, I'm Joanne from kidsdayoutreviews.co.uk.
And I'm Joy from Pink Oddie and the Sensory Seeker. Obviously, social media pet peeves, we could go on for forever, so we're going to just try and keep this nice and concise and then go into more detail at a later date at each individual social media platform. Does anyone want to start with anything really annoying them?
Go on, Joanne, you can do it as a professional.
Go on then. One thing that really annoys me, and I know that it annoys a lot of other people too, but not everybody, auto DMs on Twitter. You follow somebody, you get an auto DM saying, "Hi, thanks for following me. Come and check out my Facebook page," which really annoys me as well, because if I wanted to follow you on Facebook, I'd be following you on Facebook. And I know it works for some companies, but for me, I'm not going to go, "Oh yeah, that's great, switch from Twitter to Facebook to come and follow you." I'm following you on Twitter. I want to follow you on Twitter. That's why I'm following you on Twitter. Do not send me to another social media network, because I am not interested. Yes, send the odd tweet out going, if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can follow me on Facebook, send the link out. I do that for companies. I maybe send maybe one or two out a week saying if you want to follow us on Facebook as well, do that. But auto DMing me is probably a 50-50 chance I will just unfollow you again. I tend to be a little bit more forgiving of bloggers. However, companies, I just think it's lazy, to be honest. It's lazy. And if you don't want to be on Twitter, if you'd rather be on Facebook, don't be on Twitter in the first place. That's just one thing that really annoys me. As you can guess, I've got a bit ranty. Sorry, uncharacteristically ranty. Anybody else find the auto DMs a little bit annoying?
Oh, yes.
Hi, Penny.
Hello, sorry, I had a moment of technical difficulties where my laptop decided to tell me I didn't actually have a web browser for a little while, which made life interesting. But
so what else? Come on, what else annoys you? Come on, enjoy what annoys you on any social media network that you're on.
There's just so much. I really hate spamming, and I'll probably annoy a lot of bloggers now who don't even feel it's spamming. But if you've got a linky, especially if it's one that I don't join in with, have never joined in with, and all you're doing on your timeline is going, "Hey, come join my linky this week. Hey," and like you've done it to me like 6 weeks in a row, and I still haven't joined in with your linky. Guess what? I know your linky's there now. If I want to join in with it, I join in with it. Again, if you tweet out saying, "Oh, this is my linky," not to anyone in particular, and I might actually even retweet it. But yeah, that can also lead to a little unfollow, depending on how friendly I am with you. I mean, if I have joined in with your linky, sometimes it is a nice reminder. I can see how that works, but if I don't, no. Anybody else?
No, I totally agree with you. I joined in with Country Kids, Fiona from Coombe Mill, and it's a nice reminder for me, you know, you joining in tomorrow for me. Oh yeah, I've got to finish that post, because I do join in, and even if there's a big gap, it just reminds me, oh, you know, I like that linky, I really want to join in again. But yeah, there's a few that I've never joined in, and I still get asked every week, you know, hi, what there, and everybody in that section, whoever's been tweeted to, retweets it, and I don't. Then I feel a bit awkward that I haven't retweeted it for her, but I've never joined it. But yeah, there's quite a few that that do that, and they target lots of people, and I don't think that's necessary. I think, like Joyce says, you know, one single link for everybody to retweet, because it just looks needy and it looks spammy, I think, like you say, and it just fills up that person's timeline. I just don't think it looks good. But yeah, Twitter is pretty much like anything else now, a sort of a spamming and link dumping centre, and I am that person who complains that there's no conversation anymore, and I'm known for waffling and just using Twitter for how it was purposed as a micro-blogging platform. So I put little things about what I've done in my day, what I'm going to do in my day, little things that made me laugh, and just to get some kind of conversation. But yeah, if I'm on there and I complain about people not using Twitter how I like, no, well, not how I like, but how do I put this? I think it, you know, it shows a lot more character and more. I'm more inclined to look at your blog if you are giving more over about yourself. And there's some things that you just aren't relevant to people's blogs, are they? That you talk about on Twitter. It's not worth it. You know, it's just little conversations. And so I thought, oh yeah, they're interested, and I'll put them on a list on Twitter, and I'll go later on at the end of the week, and I'll go, oh yeah, she was interested, I'll go check out her blog. But I don't know, it's just, I don't think people are giving enough of themselves. You know, a blog's not just enough. I mean, and blogs are hard work, you know, to sit there and write a post, but it doesn't take 2 minutes to tweet out something and start a conversation, or even join in a conversation. That's another thing. People are afraid to jump in on conversations. Why? 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 Well, I don't get that. I really don't get that. And there was a thing last year where people were favouriting every single tweet of mine. I'd come out with quite witty stuff, just stupid stuff, and people were favouriting it, and they weren't coming back with something to say, oh, that's funny, or yeah, I agree, whatever. It was constant. And so I got a bit of a rant, and I wrote a blog post about it. It was very tongue-in-cheek. I don't sort of like dictate people how it is, but it went on for 3 weeks. People were purposely favouring all my tweets just because I didn't like people favouring my tweets, which is great because it means my clout score goes up. Thank you. And yeah, people, you know, commenting on the blog posts and sort of sharing and everything, but you know, I don't really write posts like that. It's just that I was just so annoyed that people were doing that. But yeah, that's my sort of like Twitter peeve.
Exciting.
Yeah, so I mean, when I first started blogging, so like 4 years ago, I used to be able to go on Twitter at like 2 in the morning when I was looking for the feeding twins, and there was always somebody on, not link dumping. There was always somebody up chatting, just saying, "Is anybody else up?" And I'd go, "Yes, I'm up," and we'd just sit and have a little conversation for 10 minutes or so, just to stop me going completely barking. But now you go on at 2 in the morning, and it's all links so they can catch the US traffic. It's all retweets of BBC news items. There is just nothing. There's nobody about. There's just nothing on there at all. Sorry, go on. So it has become a little bit of a link dump. I do schedule quite a lot of my old archive, maybe to the tune of 2 or 3 a day, to go out to remind me to do things, to push things out. I do respond to when people comment on them and reply to them because I've got my phone with me in my pocket. I can respond to the stuff at least. But yeah, I just find it a little bit upsetting that when you do say something that's actually off the cuff and you do it spontaneously and it's not a link, nobody replies to it. Nobody joins in, nobody retweets it. Yet 2 or 3 years ago, had something been done, you know, had I said something funny, it would have got 5 or 6 retweets. And people just aren't like Ali says, joining in anymore. Really, I think it's become a bit of a link dump. We need to get it back a little bit. I think, like the good old days when it was all fields round here. We need to go back to the good old days of Twitter. You know.
Yeah. I have tried on several occasions with people. I mean, because the tea club thing that's been going for over a year now. We decided that we would start a tea club. There was a small group of us that would chat to each other each day just to get us on Twitter, and it was only about 3 or 4 of us, and it's come to about 7. So the amount of characters we have to have a conversation is very short, but at least we're on there. And actually, somebody commented that it got quite annoying that every now and then we have this conversation with lots of people, but it doesn't stop anybody doing the same or sort of like talking to us. You know, still have a conversation. We can see that we're having a conversation. They can say, "Hey," whatever. But yeah. There's always the morning people on that I've always had for a number of years, and like Joanne as well. When I was breastfeeding my youngest, 3 a.m. feeding club. You could use that hashtag. You could find other mums who are up feeding their babies. So yeah, but people don't tend to use hashtags to find other people. I don't think anymore. They're to follow people and join in conversations. They just put it there. It doesn't mean anything, kind of thing. And I think that's where Twitter's lost its meaning of connecting with other people. Because for a long time, a lot of people that were following me and who I was following were American. There's hardly any English people. English, British, UK people. But you know, people that were local to me. And actually, I have found local people that I've met up with. But there is not that wanting to network and find people that are local to you.
You see, I've got the opposite, Ali, actually, in that here in St Albans, there's a real local buzz on Twitter. And just last night I went to a restaurant review, which is why I'm slightly bleary-eyed today. But there, it was great because I actually got to meet a woman who I didn't know existed as another local blogger until yesterday, when the restaurant we were going to tweeted all of us that were going and said, you know, looking forward to seeing you later. And we all ended up, of course, following each other and chatting and sidelines and stuff like that. And that's great. And there is a real local network here on Twitter. But as you say, it's not as chatty as it used to be. And I've been trying to myself put more of an effort in lately. So I've actually gone and created my own list of people that I chat to. So that doesn't, you know, I've not been culling people I follow overall, but just looking at what timeline I go to. So my main timeline was just too busy, to be honest with you. And I think one of my pet hates on there, sorry Joe, I don't think you come into this category, but it's people who have auto tweeting out old blog posts without any filter on them. So you get people tweeting out blog posts for competitions that finished 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, why are you doing that? And it's just some of the other ones, you know, in some of the blog posts. There was one the other day, I can't think who it was from, but their standard way of introducing those of, did you see this amazing post from however long ago? And it was actually quite a traumatic post about a miscarriage. And it was just, obviously they'd set up to do auto tweets of old blog posts, but there was just no filter on it. And I just thought, oh my, you know, yeah, I hate that.
Yeah. So the one, I mean, I think that's just sort of a little bit of laziness, really. Yeah, you can get a WordPress plugin that will do that. What I actually do is I go back through my old posts, I write something about them, and I tweet out the ones that are still relevant with keywords in them so people can find them. If it's a competition post, if it's something from Christmas, it doesn't go out in May. You know, if it's something for Easter days out, it doesn't go out in September.
No,
you know,
that's absolutely fine. I have no problem with that at all. But it's when you get these totally inappropriate time of year things, or just inappropriate events, or does my nut in.
I totally agree. That's something that I brought up when I went to Blog On conference a couple of months ago, and I was doing the social media panel for them. That is my top peeve, and I've even told people on Twitter about it. You know, they've tweeted out something about it in October, a Halloween thing, and I thought, oh, you're getting a bit early, aren't you, on Twitter? Oh yeah, it's the archive plugin, ha ha ha. You know, no harm in. I said, yeah, but it looks daft actually. And we had this conversation, and she DM'd me. She thought that she's been talked about. I said, no, there's just been a massive lot of people doing the same, and you all look stupid. It's better to go through your blog, and you can schedule on Hootsuite and TweetDeck everything. You could do like one post over once a month, you know, or you could do something just building up to Christmas. And it's a good way of going through your blog and realising, oh, actually, I could better that. Or you could do a roundup. And if you've got old blog posts that are not being seen, then you could start a new blog post and go through all your blog, and you could put together, say, like for Joanne, she could put all the northeast places that she put, or or particular area, and she could list them, put some photographs and links back to those old posts. Or you could go and say into a group and say, hey, I'm doing a post about gardening, kids and gardens. Have you ever post? Because you've got posts that you want to, and you can do that, and everybody will then go and retweet and share your posts because there are links in there. So that's another way of getting out blog posts out there, and as well as that, it then can be you can have new graphic on there, new pictures, so it can be repinned and all this kind of thing. So yeah, there are better ways of getting your old posts out, and there's a trend of people getting other people to like have a thread. Let's put our old posts up. What's the point? Just because it hasn't got any comments on, it's there's no point to it, is there? There's better ways of getting your old posts out there, and even if they haven't got a comment in, and it's not because it wasn't worth putting a comment on the first place.
Do you think it's because of all the changes to the way blogging is? When I started blogging, it was more a community thing. It was I wrote because I wanted to, and now it's all, oh, you can get free stuff, or this brand might work with me, and it's become that so many more people are trying to make it a business. And you get, as you say, the more you spam, the more your cred, whatever, goes up. So, is it that sort of thing? Is that why all this doing it? Because if I do a Twitter party and people feel they're going to get something out of it, they'll soon talk then, and there's conversation then.
It's the same way everything's changing, I think, though, and that's where it annoys me a bit. And you see people who are supposedly amazing, successful bloggers and social media people and that, and actually some of them, or you go to their Twitter timelines, and there was one the other day, and I went and I couldn't actually find a tweet that woman had actually written in ages, because everything was just retweet this because it's a brand I want to work with, retweet that, oh, so-and-so, aren't you an amazing brand? Have I told you these are the ages of my children? Would you like to work with me? And that was all the whole thing was, and it just...
That's cringy.
I found it really, really cringy, actually, and yeah, I just really didn't like it, to be honest with you. I mean, I will send out some things to some brands and, odd things, but I certainly don't, there's someone who's going to blog on, rather brands who's going to be at blog on, and I tweeted them and said, oh, really looking forward to seeing you, been in love with you since I saw the particular video they'd done and stuff. But that's kind of like a one-off. But yeah, it was just this whole timeline was just all tweets to brands and retweeting lots of things they tweeted to kind of show a bit of engagement with them, and I just went, oh no.
But I think it might be a case of sort of other newer bloggers catching up, because we was obviously, I mean, it was for grief. We've been doing it for sort of 3 or 4 years now, and I think it's just a case of or longer, and other people, like I say, are catching on to blogging, because it will happen like that. It will filter down. Other people are catching on to Twitter, and they're using it very differently to how we use it, as more sort of pioneering people, if you like, because we were.
Yeah. Wow.
No, sorry, I'm going back to my anthropology speak here. Yeah, so the way that different people use different technology, and I think that what's happening is because Twitter has changed, but we're also moving on to other platforms. So in the meantime, sort of we're making the shift up to Instagram and Pinterest, Google Plus, like we are today. There's a lot of people still not on Google Plus who are catching up, if you like. Mm. So I think it's that people, as these social media networks filter down through the mass market, you are going to get changes. And just this morning, I downloaded the Periscope app.
On Radio 2, Jeremy Vine was talking about that as I was driving somewhere the other day, and I was like, ooh, intriguing, but I wasn't sure if I liked the sound of it or not.
Well, I'm not sure either, but I'm giving it a go. There's a few people on there already now through Twitter. And people are moving, and then other people will catch up, and slowly Periscope will be the wrong place to be, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's just the way it is.
I'm on Android, so I can't download it yet. There's another one called Meerkat as well, similar kind of thing. But I was going to say something. Yes. The difference between now and when we first started is that we wanted to be part of the community, and we went out of our way to read blogs. I mean, not many people actually read other people's blogs, so they can't see how their blog layout is wrong, and why people aren't reading their blogs, and why brands aren't choosing them. Because through, not just through linking, but I read a lot of blogs, and I just come to, I think, whoa, wow.
You see, it's interesting, Ali, because I a while ago, I took part in a article for Tots, which was pro and against comment rings, and I'm pro comment rings personally. But part of my argument was actually I find them a really good way of going and reading some blogs that I might not always read, if you see what I mean. So actually, it sounds awful to say forcing me to go and read a blog. I've chosen to take part, so it's not forcing me. But there are blogs on there that might not be things that are regularly on my reading list. But it's good in that I get to discover new blogs. I get to read different writing styles and think, oh, actually, that's really nice, or oh, don't like that, not my cup of tea. And as you say, looking at layouts and stuff like that. And I find it really interesting, almost as, I hate to use the word competitor research, but it kind of is in a way.
No, it's also, it inspires you. You know, if you're a lifestyle blogger and you write about a particular kind of thing, how are you going to progress? How are you going to say, hey, look, I'm doing this new thing because I've seen so-and-so do it.
And you crafting as well, isn't it? Yeah. You get inspiration.
Yeah, you can, you know, and that's how you meet people and you collaborate. And, you know, we've met each other, we've met, you know, through blogging, and we've got, this is how this project came about.
Yeah.
You know, doing the hangout. But it's the difference now, it's a very forced sense of community. People are not, they're only supporting each other in small groups. I know you said about the comment thread thing, but they're only doing that. They're not going out of the way to look at other people's blogs that are out of their niche or in with their niche. They're doing it just because they're on that comment thread. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think there's also the thing of there's just not enough hours in the day to do everything as well.
But if they didn't do the comment threads, they wouldn't be reading blogs anyway. That's my point.
Some people might not be.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, if you want to build a blog reading and get yourself out there, then you need to be looking at other blogs within your niche that you wouldn't have come across. So you need to do some research, and you need to go on other people's blogs, look at their blog links, look who's commenting, click on their links and go to their blogs and leave a comment on the hi, found you through such and such.
And I also on Instagram and things like that look at who else is using the hashtags that I'm using as well, and that's how I often find new people.
Yeah, well, that's what I said at the beginning.
I discovered a wonderful lady recently who's a guide leader somewhere. I think she's called the Crafty Guider or something, who does loads of cool stuff, and I don't think I'd have come across her any other way than I just looked at a hashtag and saw that she put something on there. I went, oh, that looks interesting, and you know, went from there.
Yeah, well, I actually discovered a really good YouTube channel through following a hashtag on Instagram. So that was really good.
So what noises about Instagram then? Is there anything on there that
yes,
good?
Yes.
People putting other people's pictures up constantly, going and finding, you know, these perfect pictures and then uploading them and like they're their own just to get a load of followers and likes, and it's like your picture.
I have a problem with people who only ever put up staged pictures, because I look at it as in Instagram is an instant thing, Insta, it's in the name, and in my mind I'll just grab my phone, take a picture, I might put a filter on it, I might crop something depending on what it is, but I certainly wouldn't be there taking pictures with a digital SLR and then scheduling them so that every day you've got spread out through the day certain things, because I don't like Instagram like that. I can see it for a brand, but I can't see it as a blogger, as a person.
I do admit I want to be a better photographer, and I want to use my phone, which I paid a lot of money for, to get the best out of. I don't have a DSLR thingy. I don't have any other. That is my, you know, everything in there. So I want to use it best, and it's got loads of great things on there, so I want to use it the best of my ability. I do random kid stuff out in the country. They're not always tweaked, and I do like doing stage stuff because, you know, that's my creative side. But it's not always creative stuff, and it's not, you know, I like to have a mix. And the odd, you know, on the odd occasion, I get tagged. Actually, I get tagged in WIN, what I'm doing now, quite a lot, and I forget to go back and mark down who's doing what, and then I think, ooh, and it all. Anyway, yeah, my pet peeves about Instagram. Blog people, blog. Oh, right. If you done a new blog post and they take a picture of their blog post and they put their name and they branded it. Ugh, that is just awful. I don't want to know if you've done a new blog post. I don't care. I'm on Instagram. I want to see your pictures of your life, right? Whether it's the cat, your toddler eating poo, or whatever. That's what I want to see, right? Because, and even, I don't care if you're doing just a food, because I'm a foodie, but if there's something nice, say, oh, are you right, are you going to do a recipe? And they say, yes, there is a recipe, actually, you can find it on my blog. But I don't want you to be drawing me to your blog. Yeah, it's a separate entity. Photos, just photos. But yeah, there are separate occasions like Captured by Lucy. She does a thing where she changes. She has a hashtag capturing colour, and she does different themes each week. It used to be colour, but now this week is teacups. But she'll say new theme. This week, teacups, more information on the blog, which I don't mind, but it's people who are doing screenshots and they're branding and it just looks awful. Yeah, I don't like that. That's my main pet peeve, and I do unfollow people who are constantly talking about what's on their blog. Yeah, I got a bit ranty, didn't I?
Grumpy old women, aren't we?
Well, we do spend a lot of time doing it. I think that's the thing, and that's the difference. You know, sorry to move back to Twitter quickly, but I see these businesses and they're on Twitter and they've got these Twitter accounts, but they're not really using them, and they'll do like a tweet once in a while. And I think it's actually more dangerous than not having a Twitter account. Yeah. I mean, I know my local MP is on there, and he looks like he's scheduled a tweet. But as far as I'm concerned, I've tweeted him, you've been on, you've tweeted, and you've ignored me. So I'm not happy. You know, it's just you better not to have it. And
you see, this is some businesses just get it right. And I always give an example of Ocado. And this was during Eurovision one year. I don't think it was last year, possibly the year before. And I was watching Eurovision and I was tweeting with people about what was on and stuff like that. But what was absolutely genius was the fact that Ocado were going through, and every time an act came on, they were tweeting a link to a product that they sell that was appropriate for that act, but in a comedy way. So if someone came on with a pair of particularly hideous white trousers and they came on saying something like, oh, you don't want to get a stain on those, do you? But if you do, don't worry, we do sell this stain remover or whatever. And it was just pure comedy all night. And it got to the end of their shift time, and they kind of did that, oh, it's time for us to go home now, sorry, we're going to miss the following countries, blah, 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 I'll see you all in the morning. Then 10 minutes later, oh, the boss has phoned up, it's okay, I've got some overtime, I'm back. And it was just absolutely brilliant because it was a human side. They were interacting with everyone who tweeted them that night. And whoever that was, I really hope that their boss, well, obviously someone appreciated it that night, but I really hope their boss went, yeah, good on you. You know, that's really good. And it's like there was once a big, it was in the papers, wasn't it? There was a big discussion between, I think it was Tesco Mobile, Jaffa Cakes, Yorkshire Tea, and various other people. And they ended up having some random chat, and I can't remember how it started, but someone's like, oh, is it time for a cuppa? And Yorkshire Tea came along and said, oh, I'll put the kettle on then. And Jaffa Cakes came along and said, oh, do you want a biscuit? Someone else then piped up and said, oh, are you allowed to call yourself biscuits these days? And then someone else said, what about some crisps? And Phileas Fogg came in and said, oh, we don't like that C word round here, you know. And this whole conversation kept going, and Tesco Mobile somehow got involved, and someone was like, well, are you a supermarket or are you a mobile phone operator? What are you then? Show your true colours. And it just kept going, and it was just lovely. And all those brands ended up in the newspaper. Do you know what I mean? And that's the sort of media coverage that, you know, PR managers must be lapping up. And yet it just took the individuals behind these accounts. And that, to me, is when social media is good, really, really good.
But it just goes to show, though, that if you use it properly, that Twitter still can have those sort of effects. And it's, you know, it's still very good and it's still a very useful tool. And I still have companies ringing me, can you get me on Twitter because my competitors are on Twitter and I need to be on Twitter. And that's why I do. I help companies get on and establish a Twitter presence. And it is still very, very valuable as a tool. But like I say, people sometimes as well think they should be on there because they need to be on there because they've got a blog and they should be on there, but then don't invest a little bit of time in even wanting to learn how to use it properly, really, I think. And like I say, that sense of community just ends up going in, and we all end up somewhere else, don't we? So, like it.
I think, I mean, when you're on Twitter, and if you're a blogger, you are representing yourself. And if you're just putting out links, that's not saying anything about you. Nobody knows what you're like. They can't see you networking with other bloggers. So they see you and say, well, if she's not networking with any bloggers, then she doesn't know them. So that doesn't mean she's not, you know, if they know that you're part of community and you're making an effort, and you don't have to even make an effort. It's just second nature now, social media, for me to get up, make a cup of tea, sit down, and I'm on Twitter the first thing in the morning. Then I flick through on Facebook and I put up a status and I read it in a group, and then and then I go back on Instagram and I look at people who like my photos the next day, and I go through there and I like their photos. It takes 15 minutes just to do those things in the morning. Oh, Instagram. Do you get peeved by people putting the same photo all over the place? Because when I load up my photos, Instagram, it goes to Facebook profile, Facebook page, and then Facebook Twitter. Does that get you?
Because I do Instagram to my blog Facebook page and to my Twitter, and that's it. I don't put it on my personal Facebook page, not automatically. Some of them I will on Facebook share it from my blog page to my personal page, but to be honest, I don't want to spam all my friends with my blog, because not all my friends are interested in my blog. Is kind of my way. There's some things that if I think it's particularly important, or it's something that I think a large group of my friends would be interested in, then I'll share it on my personal Facebook account. But I don't do everything, because I don't want to just annoy all my friends from school and stuff.
Yeah. A lot of if I've been sent something for review, it rarely goes onto my personal profile. It will go straight to my page.
There's a few things I'll put on my personal one. Like yesterday, my son's been sent a Bing floor puzzle to do, you know, Bing from CBeebies, and he's Bing obsessed. And I know a lot of my friends have kids the same age who are also Bing obsessed. So I shared that on my personal one as well, because I knew it would be of interest to a lot of people that don't necessarily follow my blog.
Yeah, because I use IFTTT, which means that when it goes to Twitter, you don't get a link for Instagram. You get the photo, and then to Instagram goes underneath. Because if you're on Twitter and all you see is, some people don't even label their photos, or they don't describe it very well, so you don't get very much traffic, people clicking through, do you? But with this, you'll see the photo.
But I think it depends what Twitter client you're using, because I use EchoFon, and I get all the Instagram pictures appear in the timeline on EchoFon, for instance.
Right.
So I think
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it depends on what Twitter client you use on your phone, maybe.
Does it not depend on what you're sharing as well? Because I don't share every single post to Twitter from my Instagram, but some of them I will, especially if I've been tagged in a what I'm doing now thing and I've tagged someone else, then I'll share it to Twitter, because they might not use Instagram as often as I do. So they might, they might be on. Everyone's always on Twitter as far as I'm concerned. So.
I go to Instagram more than I go into Twitter these days.
Yes.
Yeah, I am more. No, it's not as conversational.
Mm.
Because I'm finding that I find more people that way, like new people. It just feels like the same old people on Twitter.
Yeah. My Instagram followers go up a lot more than my Twitter now. What's I going to say? I don't know.
No, but just going back to that thing you were saying, Ali, about posting one picture across multiple networks, doesn't annoy me in the slightest, because I think that as bloggers we understand that not everybody is on the same social network, and if you can reuse that content across to get one person who's on Twitter and one person who's on Instagram, one person who's on Facebook, that doesn't annoy me at all, because as a blogger I understand why people do it, and I actually quite like sometimes seeing the picture twice. It's all right, don't bother me. It doesn't bother me half as much as those bloody flashback pictures that people go from 3 years ago, from 4 years ago, from 5 years ago, quite like the odd one. I did one myself on Facebook yesterday. It came up, and it was actually a really cute photo. And I don't do them very often. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll do this. But when just some people on Instagram who every photo seems to be something they posted 2 or 3 years ago, 1 year ago, and it's just, I just think, I look at them and I think, I don't remember you having a baby recently, and it isn't. It's just from their baby from 3 years ago.
But it's when they share their tea from 3 years ago.
Well, yeah, exactly. Babies, you kind of forgive. They are kind of cute. But
tea,
yeah, somebody's
what
breakfast.
they had for dinner 3 years ago. I don't really care necessarily what they're having for dinner today, let alone 3 years ago.
Yeah, I do use that app. That's the time hop thing. I do like that because I like to see how my kids have changed, and like I have a lot of new followers, so they can see, and I don't do a lot of baby and kids pictures, even though I've got 3 kids, they are at school and they are part of my life, but I don't always have pictures of my kids. I have other things in my things. So if their time hop comes up and I think, oh my God, they look so different, then because the time hop has changed now, you can have a split screen, so you can have the old picture and what they look like now. And I think that's just a good way of people saying, oh yeah, she has got children. She is a parent blogger kind of thing.
Yeah, but yours isn't every picture, is it? Or even
No,
every other picture?
not.
Or I think you've got quite a nice balance on your Instagram account.
That's the same with these wraps and juices companies as well. It's like, actually, if your wrap post is only one every God knows how many, and your other pictures are nice, I'm not going to unfollow you. But if you've got a wrap post every post, I'm not going to. So
if somebody has got a private account who I don't know, I will not follow them, because 10 out of 10 they will be a wrap company or a diet thing, and I don't want to know. I don't know, because you're getting paid for that Instagram. I don't care if you've got pictures, so I'm quite the opposite of you. I don't care if you put other pictures in between, because you're only doing that to get likes, more followers. You don't really want me to follow you for that reason. So I give them an unfollow, and unless it's in a group where people say, look, I've got a private account, then that's fine. But if they're following me and you're private, I won't follow you back.
So have we got any more pet peeves to add then?
Oh, I'm sure we've got lots.
Millions, haven't we? I'd say we were getting on for 20 to 12 now. If we now, in future weeks, talk about social media platforms as an individual platform, the good, the bad, how we can improve, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's the idea. Yeah, take each one and give it a good going over, as it were.
Sounds good.
Anyone got one they want to start with next week, so our viewers have got an idea?
Well, we did Facebook last week somewhat, didn't we? So
yeah,
maybe we can talk about Pinterest, because
I shared that video in a group and with lots of new bloggers, and they found it very helpful. There's lots of stuff they didn't know. So I think we can maybe in a few weeks' time go back over Facebook and add to it. Maybe look back over what we mentioned and get a quick synopsis and then elaborate. But yeah, I don't know. We touched on Twitter and pet peeves. Maybe we can do
Pinterest.
Twitter, yeah, things that we can make it better, and how to use it properly. How we suggest to use it properly, because how you use it is absolutely fine if that's the way you want to do it. We're not telling you how to use it. We're not going to
that disclaimer.
Get this disclaimer. We're not grumpy-haired women, really.
No.
So, if you want to go and spam, that's fine, and whatever. Great.
Just don't spam me.
Yeah, but if you want to be, I don't know.
And we do have a viewer. Oh, sorry. Hang on a minute. What did she say? Mrs. Around the World with a high chair. She says that she really hates heck being used all the time. So hello, and don't use heck.
What?
Heck. Heck. Yeah, people keep using the word heck.
What's wrong with it? That's a northern word, isn't it? Come on, Joe, stick up.
I'm probably guilty of that one. Yeah, thanks, Denise. Yeah, lovely. Yeah.
Saying hun and using the kiss. oh, it's all right, hun. Oh, it's all right, darling, hun. Constantly, and I think it's a lot of the younger bloggers as well. I wouldn't say it in a conversation. Don't do it. Yeah.
No, I've put things for sale in Facebook groups before, and if I get a message saying, "Hi, hun, is it still available?" I say no. Because I just think, do you know what? I am not getting involved with this. This is going to drag on for ages. They're going to quibble on the price. I'm going to get called hun at least every message I send back, and I'm just not sure my brain can cope. To be honest, I'll take it to the charity shop.
Yeah, well, let's not even get onto Facebook page selling pages because we'll be here all day.
Oh, Facebook selling pages or Facebook local mums groups. Oh, wow.
See, that's obviously just our opinion.
But going on some of the people that are on my Facebook and constant, there's no full stops or commas or capital letters, it's just one stream of words. And it's like, like that. No. Sorry.
Yes, if you don't want to ask people off on social media, learn to use commas. I think is probably the big takeaway then on that one.
Commas, punctuation in general, to be honest with you.
Just anything.
And we won't even pretend we're the grammar police.
And lol is not a full stop. Lol is not a full stop.
Yeah. All computers have the ability to correct your words, right? Use it.
Oh no, sometimes it corrects them when they're already right. No.
Ah, right. Using the word you for Y-O-U, stop.
The only time I'll do that is if I'm on Twitter and I'm short of characters. I'll go back and edit a tweet.
It can sometimes take
Faces out first.
2 or 3 minutes to do a tweet if it's too long because I'm taking out connectives to make it fit, just so I don't look like an idiot. And sometimes I have something really brilliant to say, but it doesn't fit in 140 characters. So then I have to think of a way of making it go over 2 or 3 tweets. And then I'm thinking too much about this, and I switch off.
Oh no, that's when it goes over to Facebook.
Yeah. Well, no. See, there's some things that work on Twitter and don't work on Facebook, and something, you know. And I sort of like in my head, I know what from me works on different social media. So, you know, I've tested things like photos and statuses on different social media, and I know what works and what doesn't. You know, I could show a photo on Facebook and it might get a few retweets and, you know, not retweets but shares or interaction. But the same picture, like anything to do with Marvel or Star Wars or anything like that, or Hobbit, it'll go mad on Google Plus. You know, but Facebook, you know, yeah. I know what works for different platforms, so I don't waste my time on, you know, doing. I know some people use Hootsuite to have the same status on Facebook as they do on Twitter, and you can see because it's really short. And you think, hang on, you've just said that on Twitter, haven't you? Because you can see it says Hootsuite. So they're just sort of like, and that's when you think, oh, they're scheduling their statuses. That's even sadder than plugging your blog. It's scheduling statuses. Seriously, you might as well just sit down and tweet while you're there. Don't schedule statuses. Right, okay, it's 11:45 now.
Ali will be after that, I think.
Right then, shall we say goodbye now?
Come back. Come back again. Yeah, you've got to subscribe to Joy's YouTube channel.
Somewhere down there, isn't it? Yeah.
Give us a thumbs up and come back next week.
Come.
Yeah, so we might be discussing, I don't know, Pinterest or something, or Google Plus in a couple of weeks. So come back for that, because it's bound to be extremely insightful and interesting.
Yes.
We'll see you all next week.
Bye. Bye.